This is a very personal and close to my own heart. I have a son and daughter in post-secondary education, and I know that they're accumulating huge student loan debt, and they need my help, and I'm able to help, but it's tough for them. When I entered university in 1976, my tuition and all the student fees, athletic fees, were $482. And in those days, student grants and loans were generous, and you could get good paying jobs in the summer. Even adjusted for inflation, the costs have skyrocketed, and we know students are struggling with student debt and accessibility. This is a fundamental issue because we know that Canada must invest in you to move forward. Your generation may be the first generation in Canadian history not to be as well off as their parents. Self-interest and justice merits us supporting you to realize and maximize your potential. That's good for you, and that's good for the country. We know whether you're in the trades and the professions, the service, or whatever your desire is to serve the world and to improve your lives, we should support that. So Jagmeet Singh and I, we will eliminate up to $20,000 of student loan for you, and we will also permanently eliminate interest on student loans and double student grants. Over the last 6 years, Justin Trudeau has collected $4 billion just on interest alone, but he refuses to go after the uber wealthy, the 1%. And refuses to go after tax havens aggressively and close the loopholes. This is fundamentally unfair. We're on your side. We want you to succeed, because when you succeed, we all succeed. And this is about justice, and it's also about reconciliation with our Indigenous neighbors, because we know that Indigenous persons are part of the unity that we need in this institution as well.
Affordability is central to education. I went to university 3 times because I have 3 degrees. So I know how difficult it can be. Low tuition is obviously important, but that's a provincial jurisdiction. Now, what we as the federal government have to do is make life more affordable. And if we make life more affordable, we're going to make education more affordable. The first step in doing that is to build more houses. We have a plan to build 1 million new houses so that rent will come down because supply will go up. Another thing that students are plagued with is high cellular and internet bills. We have some of the highest cellular and internet costs in the world. We want to increase competition so that those rates go down. Third, our current government has been printing money. This has led to mass inflation. We've also been spending way too much, and with that inflation, everything goes up. From the book you buy at the TRU bookstore, to the jug of milk you buy at Superstore, or the chicken that you buy for dinner tomorrow night. We need to curb spending so that your costs go down, because inflation won't be going up so much.
Free tuition. That's not a new policy for the Green Party. It's one that we've been talking about for a long time, one I talked about in 2019, and one I'm going to keep talking about. Because the Green Party is not a party based on power. It's a party based on principles and values. And one of the central tenets of the Green Party is that we should invest in the things we want and stop investing in the things we don't want. So we don't just want, but we need a well-educated population, well-educated next generations. An investment in university, an investment in higher education and trade schools has immediate, short-term, medium-term, and long-term returns. It's an excellent investment, and the current system is short-sighted and almost punitive. So let me stop talking. Free tuition.
Okay, education is expensive, and I think it should be free. I think it's quite within the means of this country to provide free education to students, to everybody. And I'll give you an example and explain how. I'm going to take the example of person A, person B. Doesn't get educated, gets a job, makes an average $35,000 a year. Person B goes to school, gets an education, earns $70,000 a year. This person pays $15,000 a year in tax. This person pays $21,000 a year in tax. $6,000 more the government is getting from this person. Over a 10-year period, that's $60,000. The cost of the education was $50,000. The government has made $10,000 to cover interest and administration fees. Over the course of the lifetime of these two people, this person here will have paid $180,000 more than this person. We should have free education. Now, how does that benefit us? First off, benefits us economically, because now you have $50,000. The educated person that's not paying for this, $50,000 to pump back into the economy. You can go out and spend money. Next, I am getting older. The nurses are getting older. The doctors are getting older. All the trades are getting older. We need you to be educated. We absolutely need you to be educated. I cannot make this happen without your help. You have to say, I want free education, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this check for $10,000, and I'm going to give it to the student union, and they can cash that check to form a political party amongst the students that will say, we want free education, and stop going to school until you get it. Let's do some protesting. If you do that, I'll be your voice in Ottawa. Thank you.
I'd like to begin by acknowledging the significant contributions of students to the Canadian economy and Canadian communities. Being part of a university, a college, a trade school is something that really helps to build a strong community. And it's important that those individuals have the opportunity to save for houses, to invest in their futures, and that requires making university education affordable. During the pandemic, the Liberal government no longer required students to pay the interest on the federal portion of their student loans, and we've recently committed to making that permanent if re-elected. We've also committed to increasing the cutoff for repayment of student loans to $50,000. So if you're looking to get a new job, if you're not making $50,000, you're not required to start repaying your loan. Those things will help make student studies more affordable and help to ensure that students succeed.